Okay, so welcome everyone to our Monday morning Global Heart Resonance. And given that this is a week of Thanksgiving and gratitude, let's just come into our hearts and really honor all beings. And to become fully aware as we come into this resonance circle this morning of our environment. And as you sit grounding in this miraculous moment of right here, right now, with the very many thoughts of Thanksgiving and family and making these connections, the invitation is to actually let go of mass consciousness. Just completely let it go as we're coming into, deepen into the fullness of really this shared vision and purpose, and how that purpose influences everything. And just breathing with that. Just breathing with that. Just that life essence, that sense of gratitude simply for the journey itself. And letting go of any destination or goal in this moment. And really feeling into that creative nature that's going to bring forth and really support that flourishing of every relationship, be it your grandchildren, your parents, your friends, or maybe you're going out to serve the community this week. And just softening your body, feeling that sense of this deepening resonance and reverence. And that as we're stepping into this sense of our interconnected wholeness, which has everything to do with this time, this gratitude, this giving, we honor all nations. We know the story of Thanksgiving is a myth. And we want to come into this true sense, that true form of gratitude, of love, and of loving presence. And that we have a choice. And as we just soften our breath and feel that really luscious movement, what takes hold is a sense of safety. What takes hold is a sense of support. And as we come into this common union, this centering of for the common good, living for the good of the whole this morning, which is everything that good of the whole and each one of us is about, we open to the field itself, that it's nourishing our voice as a collective. And we're just going to streamline that out to our friends and our family this week. Just taking another breath and coming fully center. Thank yourself for showing up here this morning. And I'm just going to jump right in. And for those of you that are new, welcome to this call. It happens every Monday. And the invitation is just, if you're new here, just feel into the frequency, what we're calling the home frequency here. This is a fully participatory call, and we invite you just to wait 5 or 10 minutes. Just feel into this flow, listening to that thread, speaking 1 to 2 minutes, and taking that pause and embracing this voice of wholeness, as we step into our reflection this morning, and I'm just going to jump right in. So just continue that connection, that sense of grace moving through us as a collective. So today's reflection is our interconnected wholeness, the second mountain. And it has everything to do with gratitude and how you're showing up. So the influence of this particular reflection came through a book that's written by David Brooks called The Second Mountain. And I think if you haven't read this, it's really easy to understand. It's simple, and it's understanding that it's a metaphor for this process of waking up. This process of the awakening power of love in our life as something really practical. And so I'm just going to read into the field and just relax and take this in. You don't climb the second mountain the way you climb the first. The first you conquer. You crawl to the top. But the second mountain conquers you. You surrender to that summons and do everything necessary to answer that call. On the second mountain, you tend to be relational, intimate, and relentless. The second mountain people have surpassed these pleasures in the pursuit of moral joy, a feeling that they have aligned their life toward some ultimate good. And if there is a choice, they choose joy. And as we know here in this circle, as being shared, here we meet people who radiate joy, who seem to know why they were put on this earth, who glow with a kind of inner light. Life for these people has often followed what we might think of as a two-mountain shape. They begin by climbing the mountain they were meant to climb. Their goals on the first mountain are the ones that their culture endorses: success, making your mark, personal happiness. But sometimes as they get to the top of that mountain, something happens. And we all know this. We look around, we look at the view, and there's that sense of being unsatisfied. And we realize, this wasn't my mountain at all. There's a bigger mountain out there that is actually my mountain. And so we embark on a new journey. And on that second mountain, life moves from being self-centered to other-centered. We feel we are wanting the things that are truly worth wanting, that are meaningful, not the other things people tell us to want, but that we choose to embrace a life of interdependence and surrender to a life of commitment, to showing up. And as we take another breath, he begins to speak to the second mountain organizations, the ones that touch people at their depths and leave a permanent mark, rather than leaving people floundering on their own. These organizations or organisms have a collective purpose, a shared set of rituals, a common origin story, and they nurture the thick relationships. They don't merely educate, they transform. And we all can see ourselves right inside of this experience. So today, in choosing the path of the second mountain, and maybe the third and the fourth, let's open to our interconnected wholeness as it supports this emerging world view that evokes gratitude and a greater commitment to our community and all life. And as David Brooks shares, binds ourselves to others by a social solidarity and deep love. So again, just the invitation to just open to the grace of this moment, letting go of old stories and really listening for that new emergent voice that beholds within it the gratitude of all life and allows us to have this tangible grounding and experience of our inherent wholeness. So with that, I pass this virtual talking stick and place it in the center. And thank you for all showing up.
Well, I'll kick it off here this morning. This is John in Boulder, Colorado. That's beautiful. The second mountain, an evolved level of consciousness on our way to third, fourth, fifth, sixth mountains. But gratitude has always been a very important thing for me. And first of all, this amazing experience of being on this planet in this physical body, out of this whole universe of stars and planets and galaxies and nebulae and things we don't even know about. Here we are able to share with each other in this direct experience of physically embodying the spirit that runs through everything that has ever been and ever will be. And so I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful that we get to feel the love in our hearts. And as we come to this Thanksgiving, knowing what we're thankful for, knowing what I'm thankful for, to share love with each one of you and to feel your dedication to our direct experience. And I've always said that for me, when I really got what gratitude was about for me, it was like a prayer to the universe saying, at my humble place, I am grateful for the direct experience of interaction with the resonant field, and I get it to the extent that I can. And it opens my heart, then informing the resonant field that I'm ready for more. I've experienced what I have been able to experience, and I am now a fuller receptacle for more of the miracle and the love that is being shared by that resonant field. My heart expands, and my capacity to receive more and to offer more. And so at the top of the second mountain, as Shelley and Mr. Brooks, I believe you said it was that it changes from a me to a we, to an us, to the greater good and the greater whole. And being introduced to this lovely tapestry of people is I'm very grateful for that as well. So as we go into this sharing in a couple of days, to feel that gratitude at every level is the gift that is expanded because of my association with all of you. So I rest in gratitude and appreciation, and I'm whole for today.
Good morning, everyone. This is Cassandra. I want to follow that thread. Earlier this month, I had the most powerful meditation that I ever experienced. In that, my heart expanded outside, including outside of my body, and I felt it break open. When this happened, so much love came flowing through me that I was transformed forever. I see it, the mountain, as not physical, but that metaphor that the writer refers to. The deeper we go, the more we embrace, the fuller our life experience will be. And I am just not capable of saying no anymore. It's all about yes. Being present with you, yes. Being present with my family and my friends, yes. But more than that, now understanding that when I am in meditation or take a sacred moment out of the day, that love energy that cracked open my tender heart, it goes out to everyone. It's like the home frequency sharing itself with anyone who is slightly receptive. It's a good thing. Thank you.
Good morning. This is Dinama. This is our task, our social solidarity. That is the frequency of our collective resonance, that home frequency, and bringing that into the field, vibrating that into the collective experience is our tool of transformation. And I feel the arousal of the co-creation of that, the fulfillment of a deep desire. We are. And there is boundless gratitude and excitement for our creating that which is a reflection of our true essence, our wholeness, the delusion of separation is dissolved.
Hi, it's Deborah. Um, and I flew up from Tucson to Boulder yesterday. And I just want to say real quickly that it's just so great. It's like I get to dock my boat. I get to pull over and tap in to this field, this ocean, this expanse, this love in so many different places. And it helps me see how it is everywhere. And thank you so much.
Good morning from California. We know it's winter here because we took all our sweaters off and went to the beach, and it was lovely. That's how we know. And I'm looking at all of you, and I see a beautiful quilt of people that have climbed the first mountains. I'm sure most of us have been climbing a first mountain, and I just was feeling so grateful that we're climbing the second mountain together. That's how I look at this second and beyond mountains. And it's very different than when I climbed my first mountain. I mean, even literally, I was thinking of the snow in Colorado. That was a metaphor when I was mowing my lawn in the summer, in the winter, who knows, it's all the same. And I was feeling like was sweating. I had a push mower back in the day. This is many, many years ago. And I got this really powerful insight that just spoke to me and said, you need to do something where you sweat, because you never sweat except when you're mowing the lawn, which led me to literally climbing a 14,000 foot peak in Colorado for 23 days. But I was reflecting on that, thinking about the snow in the mountains in Colorado, and it was nothing like what we have here. It was before I found a circle of people that wanted to climb together, that were coming from a place of love and of heart. It was really a difficult experience. And that's the metaphor I'm feeling today, is that we are climbing the mountain together, and we're all belayed in and supporting each other. And I'm very, very grateful for that, because it just gives me a sense of belonging and a sense of purpose and a sense that I'm in the right place. I want to just be putting out my gratitude for all of you, all of us, everybody that makes this call happen. It means a lot. And with that, I'm complete.
Thank you, Nancy. That's beautiful. My name is Kelsey, and I just wanted to tap in to say, in my mind, the visual I'm having isn't that we are together climbing this mountain, but rather that we are the mountain creating love. Like, we are this mountain of love. Being on this call is the mountain. Coming together, we are the mountain. So that people, however they can get there, can join in this mountain and feel this love and tap in. More on that to come. I'm complete.
This is Shelley. I have to follow that because it reminded me of something that I saw yesterday when I was flying back to Sarasota. And I was amazed at one point that there was this, pathway that was up on top of all the mountains, and it was just kept going over each peak, and you could just see where people would walk, on the crest of the mountain. And that's what that just reminded me of, is that yes, we are that's so beautiful. And just pulling that thread of, we are that mountain, and we love these little metaphors. And at the same time, we are this experience of the highest frequency. We are this experience of love without limits. That's what's coming to me in this moment. Love without limits. And that's that feeling of when you're standing on top and you're still in movement. You're just not at a plateau, but that we're continually experiencing this state of consciousness, this elevated state of consciousness that we know here is always informing us, and to really trust that. It's also interesting that, I was flying last night and realized that, the resonant reflection didn't go out. I'm kind of being a little transparent here. And I had this awareness, even though something came in at 1 o'clock in the morning or 1:30, that it wouldn't even matter. It doesn't even matter what the resonant reflection actually is, ever. And, it's almost like, do we trust that much that we can come in together in this fabricated quilt, that those of us who can see this visual, or that we come in a place of silence, or we come in a place of laughter, that this recognition of that consciousness that's always moving us to the peak of our experience, to the front line of our experience, as the mountain, is always, it almost like knows ahead of us that yes is there. It's always rejoicing in the fact that there is this common unity happening. So with that, I put the crystal and talking stick into the center. Thank you. And I'm whole, complete.
Good morning, everyone. This is June from California. And as I listen to everyone talk about climbing that second mountain, I'm right there with you in terms of how powerful that is and how it changes who I am and what I am in the world. And at the same time, what came to me was I can look out my window and I can see the foothills of the mountain range going down the west coast of California. And I remember the first time I moved from the Midwest here, and as we drove into a little town called Los Gatos, I could hardly talk. I was so moved and so I don't know the word for it. Everything in my heart just burst open as I saw those mountains in front of me. But they're littler mountains. They aren't the great big mountains from Colorado or some of the other places. But what they remind me of is that every day I get to climb a little mountain. And yes, I have those big mountains that I am on the journey of all the time as well. But the little mountains help me to see what really matters in the moment to me. And climbing a lot of little mountains helps me to reach the peak of the second, the third, or the fourth mountain. And I don't want to ever forget that it's those smaller mountains that have taught me and held me and invite me to climb into the higher mountains, where I where I am sharing at a much larger, deeper, and more complex level. But the smaller mountains create joy in me. I laugh out loud every time, and I've lived here for 40 some years. But the sight of those mountains opens up the possibility of almost anything inside of me. And it opens up the joy and the gratitude of what I get to see and experience every single day. And so I look forward to the big mountains, but every day the little ones remind me of what I need to learn to climb that big mountain and to honor all of those ways in which I'm taught and led and supported. And so I'm just getting great gratitude today for all of my little mountains, my big mountains, and all of you who are definitely my big mountains. And so I give over the talking stick here, the crystal talking stick, and I'm complete.
Good morning, all. Nahid from Boulder. Talking about mountain, I'm present to my deep gratitude to the mountain in Boulder. It's been, I always have felt home in the mountain. And most often, I mean, these days that I've been here, I just keep thanking the mountains that they have invited me here. Very grateful to be here. It really feels home. What touched me in the reflection today is how we climb the second mountain. We actually don't. We don't climb it. I would say what the word just surrendering in every moment to the awareness of that which is holding everything. And my purpose of being here, there's so much grace in just holding that. And for me, the rest would happen. So at this age, I would say most of us are about 50 here, it's like life becomes more quiet. That's how I feel it. And I'm more present to the storyline of my life. It's like it was the reality, when I was living it. And I am surprised. I said, wow, what kind of life I have lived. It's like I have totally forgotten about everything. But just this story to bring me to this moment. And this moment is, I am infinitely grateful for the beauty of each heart, that it comes together every Monday and we can share the beauty of creation and are magnificent. could it be better? I would say if it was, it would have been. But this is yummy. This is beautiful. And I hope that we, as Kelsey said it, this mountain of love would be so attractive that we would have more of the beauties that come forward, and we would be able to share that with each other. Thank you for your presence in my life. I am complete.
Good morning, everyone. This is Karen in Costa Rica. Wow. I hadn't had a chance to read the reflection before the call, and I listened to that which described my life, our lives, as I've now been listening to others speak bits and pieces of my life, our lives. And I'm having trouble controlling the tears, so just bear with me. You know, I'm sure it's a life of many of us. I had all the things that I was told I was to strive for and have that would make me happy. You know, that life of a husband, a child, a business, his business, a big house, the cars, the boat, everything. And I wasn't happy. And I got to that point where it's like, now what? What more is there? Is there more than this? Oh, please tell me there's more than this, because this can't be all that. And then Spirit stepped in and tore my life apart. Shoved me in a whole new direction. Dragged me to a healing table at a Unity in Vero Beach, Florida, where things just started to happen. And slowly all of that was taken away, and a whole new life began, and that second mountain to climb. And the experiences like Cassandra mentioned. And in June, the small hills that keep us going and keep us taking us on that journey up. And the time of life where things are quiet, like he talked about. And Nancy, you brought me to tears, reminding me. Saturday, I had one of those moments where Spirit was bringing a review of a lot of my life. And I was suddenly feeling very alone in this quiet world that I'm in here. Living more of a virtual life with others than a physical life with others here. And then things started to shift yesterday. And of course, review and gratitude and moving forward. And then this morning reminded me that I'm not alone on this journey. Look at all of us. We're all on this journey. We're all climbing that second mountain and third mountain and however more there are, because even before people mentioned that, I was seeing, as these tears are coming and the review of life and the things happening, I have felt for some time that it is just about time for a new adventure. There's a new mountain appearing to climb. And Kelsey may be right. We are the mountain, that we are creating the mountain, and that we in the world is about to embark on. And it's exciting, scary and exciting all at the same time. And knowing that we're not alone. We are awake. We have our assignments. We know what we're to do. We know where we're going. The path is there to follow. As Shelley saw as she was flying, the paths are there. We can see our path now. And it's time. So I'm so blessed to be on a call with people like all of you, and so grateful for it. I words can't express it. So thank you again for having me here on Mondays. As the tears begin, I know the new journey is coming. It's the review and the new journey begins. And I'm not alone. And there are others. And as we all work together, we see a new world. We see the new paths that we are forming on and where we are to go. And it's, wow, it's such a blessing. So thank you all.
Greetings all, Kate here in South Dakota. I'll pick up that talking stick for a moment and suggest that this new mountain resonates of songs of truth and beauty. And, it's really hard for me to just wish you a Thanksgiving. It was just last year, the Thanks-taking has been shown to me in so many different ways. And I think it was just last year that I heard every church and every benevolent society wants to have their dinner to feed the homeless. Well, I guess it was upward of 2 million pounds of turkey were not consumed and were destroyed. And so I'm just I loved why we come together to nourish one another's voice, to be that resonant voice, to be the mountain wherever our voice lands. And the challenge of I love the challenge of holding the awareness of everything as we're in this big shift. And the scope, the scale of what fulfillment and happiness is, I think is just another heart-opening place for this nourishing voice to be. And so, loving y'all, love the mountain. People will be drawn to the mountain. The paths are so beautiful. And I think the mountain realizes that when we nourish our children with the Thanksgiving address once again, once we show them how wonderful it feels to feel in resonance and gratitude for all the many dimensions of life, that changes how they see everything. So the shift is on, the mountain is on, and feeling new songs and new music, and singing freedom song with you all, and loving you all, and passing back the torch.
And the tears become tears of joy.
Okay. I love what everyone is saying about these paths and the mountains and climbing them together, being the mountain, creating the path. And together, I feel like we are forging this path of love. And the more we tap into love, the deeper the grooves get, so that we know just automatically to follow this. It's like almost where it's just automated. Once you have tapped into joy, tap into love, or I guess tap into love, then you experience joy in any path you choose, because you're on the path of love. And if we're all in it together, those grooves get deeper and deeper. And the more and more people can follow, because there isn't as many trees in the way, or as many, things to trip you over. And the more we practice that together, I think that that's allowing us, to be this light, to be the light forging this path of love in this mountain, whatever that looks like. And one thing I want to say with this, especially with working with children, is the more I think we try to do onto each other, the more we're stealing from the moment of love, because we're putting ourselves in the pilot seat instead of love being in the pilot seat. And there's a philosophy with, especially working with like youth ministry, called the be with factor. And the be with factor explains that with kids especially, and this is all people, it doesn't have to just be like little kids, but the be with factor is simply of just like letting that kid be with you. You don't have to do anything. It's like climbing a mountain together. You're not preaching about how to climb the mountain. You're just being you and showing up in love and letting that light lead the way. And I think a lot of times with this type of personality of wanting to like teach, just being a teacher, being a pioneer in this field, for me at least, it's easy to want to tell everybody, like scream it on top of the mountain, like, hey, come look at this path, it's awesome. But I think it's important to realize that we can't necessarily save other people, that we can be the lighthouse, but it's up to the other people to see the light from the lighthouse and to let that guide them home. And hopefully the more that we practice this, coming into love, tapping into that love in the moment, again, the more automated it is, and it's not so much getting off the path and having to get back on it, because it's a reminder that we are the path, we are the mountain, we are love. And with that, I pass it on to somebody else who hasn't had a chance to speak yet. So thank you. I pass on the talking stick.
Morning, this is Julie in Nebraska, ready to receive the snows from Colorado. Thank you guys for sending it over. I wanted to follow that from a place of the stillness of the mountain and the qualitative energy and experience that words don't capture. As I've listened this morning and just stayed present to the different threads and just being in this place of the mountain and of the love and of the freedom, and reminded again of the music from a few shares ago. It's just that this ineffable place feels really nice. And the grace fills the time-space continuum. So yeah, there aren't words. So I'll leave it at that. And I'm complete.
This is Michelle, and as I've been listening in Minneapolis, sunny day, and it's been really fun to listen because I've had this swirl of emotions and up and down and just being on this mountain of love and just being able to contain it all and feel joy through the whole thing. And I've kind of been dancing around in my space that I've been able to do that in internally. And it's just like, I can't wait to get up and move, because there's just an abundance of joy and love that is being evoked in this mountain of love. So thank you for being my mountain of love. Beautiful place to be.
And this is Anita from the stillness of the mountain, enjoying everything that's being said and loving you all.
Good morning. This is Grace, and just really feeling in that stillness too. Really feeling that peace and that this collective elevated love mountain that we're on shifts our awareness and our perception of what is important and what we want to put our energy toward. So I really feel grateful for all of you contributing to this love mountain with these new awarenesses and new insights. Thank you.
This is Oriana in Tucson. I quite feel like Julie and Grace in the stillness, and really feeling this call to the second mountain and wondering, what's on top? What does the world look like on top of the second mountain? What is it that's so worth it that it's called me forth, called all of us in this deeper sense of being called forth? What is it that speaks so deeply that it is ineffable? What is the communication that is nonlinear, beyond words, before words, where words can't contain it, can only point in the direction of it? What is it that we will see beyond that perspective of the world that we've risen above? What is it that we will behold of the world we're meant to bring into being? What is it of the future that is meant to be, that needs our holding it to bring it into form? What is the view on top of the mountain?
What a beautiful place to be experiencing that inflow and outflow of energy, taking this fullness into our week, but more than that, just into each and every connection that gets made from this space. So I want to just thank everyone for such deep expressions of this interconnected space. And I love how we feel the exhilaration. And I love how we feel this movement of this deep inner stillness. And I love how we hold others, our grandchildren, our children, our children's friends. So we just want to just thank everyone for just saying yes, for showing up here. And this is a beautiful docking station of love where we come together. So with that, just have a beautiful week. In whatever way, know that you are in service of the greater whole. In whatever way, if you feel you need more support, know that we're here. And this flower of life, these spheres of wholeness are expanding in such beautiful ways. So not this week, but the next week, we'll be coming into our public mentoring stewards call, inviting this flow of energy to expand out. Yeah, and we'll just, how about this? Today, we'll just feel that yum inside and send that rippling out from that place of our interconnectivity, our stillness, and our deep, holy presence. So just taking a breath together. You can open your hands, open your palms, and just send this rippling wherever it needs to go, to your families, to communities, to someone who just might need that extra little bit of love. Just feeling this vibratory channel getting wider and wider and wider as it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. So with that, just thank you so much for showing up here, and we'll be here next Monday and carrying this gratitude forward. Blessings to everyone. Love you so much. Let's give a collective hug to each other, to ourselves and to each other. Love you all.